What's going on YouTube? It's CutsbyCoast or Markel here, bringing you another video. Today I'm going to do another Drake type haircut, and I had to do this because my quality is so much better. I wanted to bring you an updated one. We're not going to do the heart. Let's go ahead and start by balding him out with the shaver. Let's go ahead and start with our open section. We're going to set this about 3/4 of an inch high. We don't want to make this too high because the bald line is already high. We're just going to try to make a quick transition. Once you have your open section nice and clean, you can go ahead and close up the lever and start bumping at the very bottom line. Now, whatever you put it in with, you got to take it out with. So here we are with our detailer, officially cleaning up that bottom line. Now we can grab the Uno shaver and bump out the bottom line officially. Now we're ready to move on to the lever halfway open. And once you get this nice and consistent, you can go back through and just play with the lever and cut to color, making sure that the haircut is going to come out the way that you want it to. You know, in the front, we might try to leave it just a little bit darker so that there is a nice and sharp hairline there. But other than that, you just want to make sure that your fade doesn't look crazy. And if you guys are watching this, I appreciate you checking back into my channel. I had to take a little bit of a break. I'm back into it. I'm going to try to drop 2 videos this week. And we're on to the one guard section, guys, and this section is going to be a little bit quicker because I am taking this one all the way open, flicking into the top, which, as you can tell, there's not much weight there to work with, being that we do a high fade. Now we're going to work our level all the way closed, and we're just going to bump at it, but we know that the 0 guard or the half guard is really going to help us clean up this side. If there's one thing that I can stress to you guys, is make sure that when you pick a system, you really figure it out. It kind of looks like I'm just going all over the place with this half guard, but the half guard on this clipper, I feel like I know all the cutting links. So once you get so familiar with your tools and your system, everything will be on track. Alright guys, I like to call this section the cleanup. So what we're doing now is we're taking a 2 guard and flicking up into the top. We will do the same with a 1.5. And if the transition is not clean, we'll grab the 1 open and flick right through that line as we're going right now. Now we have one side in the books. We can go ahead and move on to the back after this. If you guys have any specific content you'd like to see, please comment below, let me know what that is. While we're balding him out using our wall detailers, our Babyliss Chameleon FX, and the Gamma shaver, I'm just going to talk to you guys a second about my next video. My next video, I am going to be doing a new and updated Tyler Hero video. I typically do his haircut how I would do it, but he keeps getting the same haircut with no weight, so I'm showing you guys how to do exactly his haircut. Here in the back, we're going to make our open section about 1 inch high rather than 3/4 of an inch. You guys all know that the back feels a little bit more dense than the rest. We went ahead and closed up our lever halfway, and then after that we will follow it with the lever all the way closed. So now we're going to go back in with our trimmer and bump out the bottom line. We will use our shaver to clean up the little in-between harsh line. And now that we have done that, we can really take a step back and look at the fade, and I see I needed to stretch it out just a little bit more. If you break up the fading into quadrants like I do, you will know that you need to go back and double check this little in-between section. Now we're going to go ahead and take the 1 guard, and we're going to take this about 1 inch high as well. Instead of doing the 1 guard all the way lever, damn, it's right there. I thought we weren't going to do the 1 guard all the way closed. I thought we were just going to jump straight to the half guard halfway open. So now we'll grab that half guard halfway open, and this is really going to connect the dots on this transition. And to finish off this side, we're going to do the open lever in between. As you can see, I thought I stretched it a little bit more than I did, but now we can connect it all. So now we have a 1.5 guard, and we're just flicking up into the top. you're cutting your sections in, make sure that they are nice and clean because it helps provide you with the overall better finished haircut. Now we'll take the one guard all the way open, and then we'll fade down from here in order to connect the blend in the transition area. I want to take a quick second, give a shout out to the barber Phil. He's almost to 1K. If you do not sub to him, go check out his channel. Before we can move on, we want to go ahead and take our bald line and make sure that it matches up with the one that we've been making so far. Now once we do that, we can go ahead and bald him out with our trimmers and our shaver. But back to what I was saying about the barber Phil. He's my homie. I started barber school with him. He started about a week before me, so I've literally been next to this guy for about 5 years, maybe even more now. So if you guys like my content, you'll absolutely like his content as well. Like I said, he's about to hit 1K. He needs that nice milestone, and then he can work on his last milestone. And this stuff just helps us create good content. As you know, we have the barber Phil, me, and Sean Cuts Hair. And of course, he has a bigger push and he's influenced us both greatly. So if you do not follow Sean Cuts Hair, follow him as well. Now we're gonna take our open lever and we're gonna take it about 3/4 of an inch high because that's what we did around the head. We only went an inch high in the back. As you can see, I'm going over my sections a couple times, making sure that they're nice and clean. Even though I'm doing it into 2 more sections left, I went ahead and made sure that our line was consistent all the way throughout. Now you can grab the lever halfway open and just kind of bump up to the open section we just created. We're gonna follow that by using our trimmer, taking out that bottom line. Tap the shaver just to make sure any unnecessary stubble is looking like a harsh line, and then now we can connect the rest with the lever halfway open and then the lever all the way closed. And of course, as you guys know, the main thing that's important about these haircuts is you just want to make sure that everything you do is consistent and that you're not scared of doing whatever. If you're trying to make that open section an inch high, make sure you make that thing an inch high. You want to make sure that you can get the best overall haircut, and the best way to get the best haircut you can do is by trusting in yourself. So as you can tell, we're doing the same exact steps with the one guard all the way open and then fading down from there. Take the half guard and clean up this transition, and we can move on to the blend. And now we are on to the left side cleanup, and we're just making sure that our transition is crispy. If the transition isn't right, then the fade can't be right because we need it to be equal parts in creating a haircut. And now that we have set our base and foundation in the transition part, we can now fade down, cutting the color to make sure that this all connects. I already connected this all the way open, so we started with the lever halfway open, flicking up to that. And then now I'm just notching it down notch by notch to continue out the last part of this blend, or of this fade area. Now with the one guard all the way open, we'll continue to connect this while flicking up into the transition and now fading down, making sure that this fade is crispy. Back with the half guard halfway open, and you can tell this half guard almost connects it all the way, but not enough, so we'll go ahead and close up the lever. So now that we have done the rest, we are on the last part of the cleanup. And as you can see, it's almost all the way together. This is literally the part in the middle of his head, connecting it all together. We're gonna take our big guards and go down, and then we will fade back up as needed. As you can tell, he kind of has a wave right here, but he doesn't brush all the way around his crown, so there's no point necessarily leaving one low wave in the back. Now we'll grab the one guard all the way open and then just work the lever until this is all gone. And this haircut could have passed right there, but of course, this is the difference maker between a good haircut and a great haircut. You want to make sure that everything is in order. We just make sure we're going over all our steps once again, double checking it all, and then connecting all the dots. Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump into the beard. I'm gonna go ahead and start by balding him out right under his earlobe. We're gonna try to make this a quick but drastic transition. Now we'll take the one guard all the way open, and we're really doing this about the same as the fade on the side of the head. We're taking it about 3/4 of an inch down. We don't really want this beard to go much farther down than his cheekbone, so by doing so, we're essentially done right here where we're flicking out. The longest length on his beard is going to be a 1.5, so after we connect this dots right here, we can go ahead and move on to the right side of his beard. And alright guys, you already know it's going to be the same exact steps. We're going to do our wall detailer followed by our gamma shaver. If you guys have not heard about this shaver, I do have a review on my channel. I do really like this shaver. I believe that and the Babyless one are the top 2 shavers, and if you're using any other shaver, you're definitely messing up. Now we can continue with the 1.5 guard, making sure that all parts of his beard are even. As you can see, I had him lean his head back just a little bit, making sure that the ease of access to cutting this hair is not going to bother my client at all. Back with the wall detailer, we are going to go ahead and line up his neck and scoop any excess hairs that are left. I use the detailer here rather than the FX clippers because they tend to pull down here. The detailer just feeds a little bit better. I don't know, I get it, some people like the FX, but man, it always pulls around that Adam's apple. I don't care what anybody says, they're lying to themselves if it's not. I've had 3 different pairs and they all did it, all with 3 different blades, so I don't know. So detail is the truth. Now I'm going to take my 1.5 trimmer guard and we're going to run this through his mustache and his soul patch area. I believe that is the first length where the hair can still stay dark, but also is nice and short so that the client doesn't have to trim it themselves in between haircuts. Before we do the lineup, of course, we have to use the face shield and some hairspray. Make sure that all the hair is consistently covered by the hairspray, brush it down, and we can start our lineup. Now, I chose to use the detailers on this one because his hair is more of a straighter texture. I don't necessarily need the FX for these. I chose to start in the middle because that was the first part where the hair growth was inconsistent. Whenever I'm lining somebody up, I typically like the chair to be at the highest I can get it. I'm very tall, so I want it to be almost eye level with me. Because if it's not eye level with you and you're just guessing at the hair and just cutting where it looks like it should be, the hairline's not going to be as straight as you think it is. And now we can finish the push to the other side. What I like to do is get a nice base whenever I'm moving to this right side. And then once I take this base, I'll kind of step back and make sure that I'm not gonna get too far into their hairline and that whenever I'm doing the sidebar, it's all gonna connect. Now we have double checked everything. Everything's ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and use some topic hair fibers. I'm gonna use medium brown on this client in particular. And let's go ahead and fill in a little bit of his hairline. Whenever you're using fibers, you want to make sure that you're holding it a little bit farther away from the head. You don't want it to be big blotchy spots, if that makes sense. You want it to make sure that it's evenly distributed. And if you do not have them evenly distributed, you can take a comb and comb through the fibers as well. And this is what we started with, guys. I know you guys are ready to see the full finish, but this is what we started with. This is one of my more regular clients, so nothing too crazy. I appreciate him for always coming in often. And this is the finish, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, leave me a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. If you really mess with me, turn on that notification bell. It's CutsbyCoast, and I'm out of here.